Boom. Okay, we're live. We're sitting outside because we've lost electricity today, but we're going to be going over Bitcoin in the crypto market. And look, for those of you that haven't seen my upstairs work area, which I probably don't normally share with you guys, it's also my upstairs bedroom, jacuzzi, and a reading yoga area. Anyways, with that in mind, find yourself somewhere comfortable to sit down and enjoy the rest of this episode as we're just going to dive right in here. So I've got CoinGecko open. First off, if you're using CoinMarketCap, stop. Use CoinGecko. It's a significantly better service, and their application is fantastic. One of the things I'm interested in right now is the current market cap sitting around 374 billion. Now, this is an aggregate of the total economic growth right now within this particular sector. And as I zoom in here, one of the things that I want to highlight is this previous breakout. Boom. There we go, past the previous highs of July 2019. Again, this just happened recently, somewhere around July again. Wow, see, and what's unique about this and what I really wanted to share was the relationships of what we've been looking at in our Wyckoff accumulation phases, because they correspond perfectly to that July to July date. So here you see on the left-hand side, oh yeah, June, July, boom, there was that last high of 2019, and here's where we are now, but with a lower price point. So why is this relevant and what does it mean for us as traders? Well, this likely signals a very confident move into the bull market. We can see it, they're pumping ads out left, right, and center. And one of the things people often don't recognize in this trading methodology with the Wyckoff situation specifically is that CompMan himself is also in charge of the news. He's the guy that happens to bring, like when things get updated in the markets, it's because CompMan is doing it as well. Right, so a lot of people are like, oh, the news broke. I really think it's more so about the, I guess, the aggregate of who knows what's coming. So in a sense and in effect, when we see these bottoms, these LPSs in the box, and I should actually move this over because it's still in box D, this final LPS test here, it's not because of the news. It's because the news is made by the people that already have those long-term positions that they've built. So they've been building into this. They've been building into those news releases. And as a matter of fact, they use that to pump their own accumulation area, right? So remember, Composite Man has an infinite amount of money and an infinite amount of time. So for those of you that are new to trading or investing, the crypto space is extremely exciting because it represents what's known as an asymmetrical bet, which means these could be worth nothing, or they could be worth 5, 10, 100x what they are today. I use constantly DigiByte as an example. 5 years ago versus today, it's up 93,000%. So we know that minimal exposure in this sector over the long term yields fantastic results. And this type of investing, I think in general, is safer because we know of the volatility. Whereas I think it's much more dangerous to be in the general stock market because it has hidden risks and invisible ones. And I'm far more worried about those invisible risks than I am about the risks that I understand. Here, I know I have minimal downside, so I just take a limited entry position. So basic attention token is right down near the bottom of the LPS phase. Ontology also right down near the bottom of this LPS phase. Now, for those of you that have joined us, we're going to use a few examples again here. Yesterday, we had looked at waves. We saw the final LPS in box D, and then a massive run-up. All these tokens that are in this phaseology are going to do it. So look, I see why a bunch of newbie traders get fleeced right now. They're like, oh my God, I've been holding on to XRP for a year. Well, first off, that's stupid because we were in a bear market for a long time, so you don't want to accumulate anything. But that's what retail investors do. They don't know how to trade and they don't know how to invest, so they make a bad decision. And let's use XRP as an example. They enter in like somewhere in 2018, like over here, like, oh my God, it's going to the moon. You have a big run up of 100%. They're like, it's going to go to $5, $100, and then drops back down. Composite Man always drops these prices back down. But here we saw the final spring. Now, I will go over and I'll share this with you guys. So let's draw this out. Okay, so we've got A, anything to the left of A there. We've got B on this side as well. So we just drag this over. We've got C where our spike down was, or our spring. We're about to go into phase D for XRP essentially, and then move into phases D and E. And one of the important things here that I want to point out is the realization that these big market cap tokens are going to move slower than the small ones, right? So when we're playing in Fetch and we're seeing multiple 100% gains over the last month, it's because it's only a $50 million market cap. Same with Matic, Seller One, and some of the other tokens we're currently playing with. whereas XRP is just a behemoth, right? So we'll go to CoinGecko, our favorite of favorites. We type in XRP. Number 3, well, that's a stupid position for XRP to be at, but look, that's a $13 billion market cap. For it to move even to the top of this box is a significant amount of capital injected, right? But these players have been building a long-term position since, again, July to July. Now, it doesn't matter what token I look at to some degree as long as I see this footprint, right? So we'll use XLM, another one of the trades that we had taken. And here again, from July to July, an accumulation and a breakout of the box, and a final retest above the box in phase E. This is extremely important. So for those of you that don't know, you can find all this stuff for free on the internet. I'm currently on school.stockcharts.com, and right now we're going to take a quick look at the accumulation phases, right? So this area here, the final LPS, or the spring, let's go back up to the second one, the spring test here, and the final LPS in phase D, or like this, the LPS in phase C and then phase D, are extremely important to keep an eye on because what they do is give us the perfect time to enter the markets, right? So 6 months ago wasn't a great time to enter the markets because you had to lock up capital and be all stagnant. But right now, as we're entering a brand new bull cycle, it seems very apparent at this moment, we're going to see all the reason why the bulls have been accumulated, or the market man, comp man, whales, whatever you want to call it. I think comp man is the best terminology for it. They've been accumulating for this long period of time to build these positions. And once they go, you get big moves out of it, right? So for all the private Bear Den members, congratulations. It's so awesome to see you guys all making so much money. So first off, second or third, if you haven't yet, join the links below and join the private Bear Den. It's a community, it's also a newsletter, but the most valuable part is the fact that there's so many people that are learning and are willing to help one another in that area. So when you have a community that's collaborating together and focusing on doing better, it's a really productive place to be. So for the next probably 6 months, we're going to offer a refund, no questions asked refund. So if you sign up, it's $30 a month. It's $290 a year for a 30% discount if you want to go that way as well. And if you're not happy, we'll just give you a refund. Because if you can't get value out of it, it probably has a little to do with us and more to do with that you just don't have enough time to educate yourself to make these decisions. What we want to do is educate people to be empowered to do their own thing, not to ask us questions. So I consistently try to remind people that, look, just go out there and chart these things. Because look what we saw, again, I'll go over waves here, these massive explosions. And these are not the only ones. Leah Bear, one of our great members, she's a fantastic trader. I think it's Gypsy Trades on TradingView here. You can follow her there. She took an entry into Tron and is now 27%. Now, none of us like Tron, right? But it doesn't matter. I don't care what the name is. If we see these LPS tests in box D, you're going to get an explosion afterwards, right? So here's, again, we look back at ontology. We're in that LPS test right at the top of the POC line, and we're going to see an explosion of price, especially once we get over this blue marker. This is like the current buying area, right? This is where we're it's trying to drag the price up to here through buying pressure. So this is one of the most powerful things to do, and I'm just going to keep repeating this day in and day out until everyone gets as best of understanding as they can. Because there are a lot of YouTubers out there right now that don't know how to trade worth shit. Excuse my language. And it's not their fault necessarily. It takes a long time and a long investment. I've been doing this for like 10 years almost, making mistakes and failing in the markets. And this has got to be the simplest thing for anyone to learn. So if you haven't learned it, if you can't afford to join the private den, just study the Wyckoff method. It will save you so much money in the long term as an investor. It's just demonstrably ridiculous. So I'm going to keep today's video really short, but the last thing I wanted to look at was this ascending triangle in Bitcoin that we've been watching in the private Bear Den as well. Now here we saw, I'm going to excuse some of my lines, so maybe we'll just grab a different version here so it's easier. This nice rising ascending triangle as an accumulation period is quite bullish, and I'll show you an example of where this is breaking out again already. And you could actually look at it this way too. Actually, yeah, well, let's do it in the Wyckoff phaseology. It'll be easier to see. In the Wyckoff reaccumulation area, you're looking for a few things, right? One of them is a break above the creek, and the other one is a move. I'm not going to draw these very cleanly, guys. I'm sorry, we just don't have the time. Like, it doesn't matter. We just don't have the time. We're doing this all live on the fly because that's the most relevant information as we go. So we're actually seeing something very similar to what we saw in DigiByte, which is an ascending channel through the box of the reaccumulation. And these are quite a bullish signal in my mind. So for those of you that are, again, in the private bear den, you know that we took entries into, well, first we took some entries into DigiByte back when it was like 50 Satoshis, but even more importantly, this reaccumulation area that we've been watching formulates this real, and you cut off some of the spikes, guys. The hype is kind of arbitrary, so you want to cut off some of the spikes. Here's we've been following that ascending channel through the accumulation period. So what Bitcoin is doing right now, in my mind, is a very, very bullish signal. It's going to likely send us to around $13,500, and then we've got a large amount of buying pressure down here at 10,000 and 9,200. So I do suspect that after we break up, touch this line, this is going to signal a new bull market for everyone. So we're likely going to go, whoop, yeah, hype phase, oh my God, things we're going to the moon, blah, blah, and then we're going to retest this. And Bitcoin is phenomenal at doing this. I can't count how many times we see these 30% drops. Boom, 30% drop, right? Okay. Boom, 30% drop. Boom, 40% drop, right? So this is actually pretty consistent. We see Bitcoin making 30% drops. Now, you don't want to just say, oh, it's going to always only drop 30%. That doesn't make sense. It's just kind of a rough guideline and area. So I do suspect that once we see the breakout of this reaccumulation channel here on the 45-minute, we're going to run up to $13,000 as long as we stay above 11.8 and we stay in this channel here. Very, very important to stay above 11.5 particularly. We're going to shoot up to around 13,500. So I'll keep the video short today. I hope that's helpful. Give us a thumbs up if you like this content. And you know what I'm going to do for the last like 2 minutes of this video, because I'm sure some of you are stuck in a city and not able to enjoy nature as much as I am. I'm just going to turn my computer around here, and I'm going to leave you with maybe like a minute of the jungle sounds. So Stu with the Arcane Bear, signing off for the rest of the day. And we will make an episode tomorrow and some music videos on Saturday. And thanks, guys. We'll see you again soon. Have fun out there, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you all for joining us. I really appreciate the support. Leave your likes, your comments, and thank you to all the new Bear members that have joined. If you guys haven't yet, please check your welcome emails. They might be in your spam folder, and we'll be sending out around 2 new PDFs in the Wyckoff accumulation area, so people can learn more about that. And we're also going to be sending out our newsletter here at the beginning of the month. So stay tuned. Enjoy yourselves, and man, bull market, get ready for some runs, guys. Ladies and gentlemen, find exposure, play this space, and if you've been holding something for a long time, check this accumulation period, because it's probably not worth getting rid of it. You'll probably end up selling it 2 days before it explodes, and that's usually what happens. You're like, oh my God, everything's going up, but this one's not going up. I'm sitting in the only one that didn't go up, and then up it goes. So we'll see you guys again on the other side. Thank you for joining us today. Let's do it.